For this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, grateful, grateful. Good afternoon, everyone. So glad that you're here today. Welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm David Alexander. I'm the spiritual director here. My pronouns are he and his. Welcome to all of our friends watching online on Facebook and YouTube, as well as in the room. We're glad that you're here today. It's September. Can you believe it's September? Oh my goodness, it's September, so we're starting a new series, Transcendent Purpose, which corresponds with our wonderful Science of Mind magazine. So all month long, our speakers will be addressing this topic. And today, to kick it off, we have our Associate Minister, Reverend Jean Bell, kicking off today's Transcendent Purpose series. If you are new checking us out or visiting us for the first time, either online or in person, we're glad that you're here. We want to welcome you. Please visit our website, SLCA.com. Lots of information there about our community, our history, what we believe. There's classes you can take online on demand for free and some for small fees. So please be sure to check out all of that. And in the room, be sure to ask any questions after the service of any of our staff or ushers, and we'll get you all the information that you need to make you feel welcome and connected here. Every monthly series comes with an affirmation, so we're going to share with you the new affirmation. I'll read it once through and then invite you to read it with me. This month's affirmation, written by Reverend Jean Bell, says, "Today, I acknowledge the divine presence of good in my life, recognizing that this transcendent power continually moves through all my thoughts and actions. It sustains, energizes, guides, and inspires me. With an open heart and mind, I welcome my higher purpose to live life with greater abundance, joy, and love, knowing it overflows with infinite possibilities." Let's take a deep breath. And together with one voice, let us affirm, "Today, I acknowledge the divine presence of good in my life, recognizing that this transcendent power continuously moves through all my thoughts and actions. It sustains, energizes, guides, and inspires me. With an open heart and mind, I welcome my higher purpose to live life with greater abundance, joy, and love, knowing it overflows with infinite possibilities." And so it is. And so we are. Give yourselves a hand for being here today. Let's welcome Jamel Morris for today's announcements.
Great afternoon, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Well, I am Jamel Morris, and I serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We are so happy that you chose to spend your time with us. Please make yourself known in the online chat or in person so a member of our welcome team can meet you. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give here at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR code found on your monitor behind me. Let's give it up for Reverend Jean as she invites you to join her every second Sunday during our 5 o'clock hour and discover the basic ideas of the science of mind. This is a perfect opportunity for members and newcomers to discuss the basic principles of the science of mind and spirit philosophy in a small group setting. These principles enhance your personal well-being and allow you to live a more freeing and fulfilled life. Say yes. Have you checked out The Gathering yet? Have you? Reverend Susan Zoller is thrilled to join with you and other SLCA members as we share the wisdom of Ernest Holmes for the 365 Science of Mind daily affirmation readings. This book gives us a whole year of wisdom and spiritual jewels for each day of the year. In The Gathering, we get to discuss how this wisdom applies to our daily lives and how it can help us to spiritually grow. Register today and connect with Reverend Susan on Zoom each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, say yes. Again, lastly, adult study is growing, and we want you to join us each Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This SLCA practitioner-led class explores the Science of Mind magazine and is a wonderful way to connect with the community as you grow in this teaching. Check out our website today and register for the Zoom link. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting you after service in the social hall for food and fellowship. Please be sure to speak to at least 2 people today that you don't know or have not spoken to in a while. Lastly, remember, you belong. Glad to see you all.
Open your mind, unfold your relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Breathe every breath, release your cringe. Love without waiting, slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
It was written that if the only prayer ever spoken was God is and I am, that would be more enough. It would be more than enough to simply know that which created all created me, and I am of it. With all the power and knowledge contained within it, which is unlimited, I have access to that. I don't control it, I direct it. And so, knowing this, I relinquish any doubt that I have, Any feeling that in some part of my life, I can't do this, or I can't achieve this, or that can't happen. I know the infinite power of the divine intelligence, the creative force of the universe, that which I call God, but is called by so many names, is within me and within every person around me. The very air in this room is vibrating with intelligence. And so when I doubt, when I compare myself to someone else's experience, when I catch myself believing something less than the truth, I am reminded powerfully that the all-knowing mind of God is within me. I am not all of it, but all I am is it. And so I know that I know, and I know that I can. I stop accepting any excuse from myself for something that is not happening in my life. If something is not happening, I look in and see where I need to know something greater, because there is always a greater idea. I welcome those greater ideas. I know there is nothing that cannot be solved by the all-powerful mind of God. And I am walking in an ocean of God every moment, no matter where I am. I stand on the shoulders of so many who have brought us to this moment. This truth is eternal. It has always been so, and I recognize that it is not new. Just my use of it every moment can be renewed. And so I am grateful for every sinner, regardless of denomination, regardless of belief, that teaches us to have greater faith, to know that that which is within me is so powerful. I stop thinking things have to be just the way that I want them to be, and I accept a greater idea. I open myself up to have a greater experience than I've ever had, even if it's different from my expectations. And I raise my expectations to a new and glorious level, because I know that Spirit is always saying yes. And for this, I am grateful, and I know this for every person within this auditorium and within the sound of my voice, whether it's present moment or in the future. I'm so grateful for the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta and everyone associated with it. I'm grateful for the music, the tech staff, the practitioners, the ministers, and all of those who support us, because we are a divine idea in the mind of God, just as I am, just as you are. Knowing this, I release this, because it is already so through my clear intention placed in the law. So I simply say thank you. Namaste, aloha, blessed be, shalom, amen. And if you care to join me, and so it is.
You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your stories, tell them to me, and don't leave out a word. 'Cause I think I have been there too, and I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
lighting the flames of faith. A call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We recognize the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We recognize the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of the primal spirituality. We recognize the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We recognize the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We recognize the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We recognize the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We recognize the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We recognize the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We recognize the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we recognize the healing candle, please put silently in the light the name of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Thank you, Reverend Susan, for that wonderful prayer and setting the tone, Penelope. So grateful. It's our time for tithes and offerings. It's our time of circulation in this spiritual community where we pause and give thanks for all of the good that is coming to us, all the good that is flowing from us and circulating around us. And so the many ways to do that. You can get out your phone and point the camera at the QR code, which is the funny little box, square, checkered thing in the corner, or you can text any amount to the phone number there, 404-800-9467. Visit our website. If you're in the room, cash and check work. If you're online, please take advantage of one of these opportunities to give and to support this wonderful spiritual community. We're continuing to do good work in the world. We'll continue to be called to come together as community, to be anchored in this truth. And I don't know about you, but as I pay attention to what's happening in the world, I continuously give thanks that there is a place called Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta that exists, and all of its affiliated like-minded communities in the New Thought world, that these centers exist in the world, and they're grounding places for us to come to, and that by virtue of my donation, by virtue of my contribution, my circulation, and my, for me, monthly pledge that comes out automatically, that opportunity is opening up for somebody else to discover us for the first time and to experience what many of us in the room have experienced, which is when we walk in to say, oh my gosh, I never knew a place like this existed. I'm so grateful that this place is teaching what I have always thought. And so we want to create that opportunity for somebody new today through our gift. So hold that gift in your hand, whatever form it takes, and let's bless it now with these words. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
All right, we are indeed grateful and so blessed to receive all of these gifts in physical form in the room and online and throughout the month, all of the gifts that are flowing to us from many different locations, hearts and minds and places all around the country. I'm grateful. Grateful to be receiving this love, receiving this gratitude, receiving these heart connections, these expressions of thanksgiving. I know that they are received into the heart of this ministry to do good and very good work, pressed down and overflowing, returning back to us the life that we experience and the principles that inspire us. For this and so much more, I'm truly grateful and thankful, and so it is.
People keep on learning. I need you to clap along. Soldiers keep on warring. The world keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Powers keep on lying, while people keep on dying. World keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Try it again. The last time on earth I lived, oh, what a sin. I'm so glad I know more now than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I've reached the highest ground. All right. Teachers, just keep teaching. Preachers, woo, just keep preaching. The world keeps on turning. Won't be too long. Lovers too long. No, no, no. I'm so darn glad he let me try it again. The last time on earth I lived a whole world of sin. I'm so glad I know more now than I knew then. Woo! Gonna keep on trying till I've reached the highest ground. Till I reach the highest ground. Don't let them bring you down. Don't let no one bring you down.
That was awesome, babe. Awesome. Higher ground. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi. Higher ground. I love that. I am Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are she and her, and I can't believe it's September. Can you believe it's September? Where did the year go? So I found this story. I was playing around with the idea of transcendent purpose. And I wasn't feeling it until I found this story in the Living the Science of Mind book. And if you don't have that book, get it, add it to your library. You won't be dissatisfied with it. It kind of breaks down everything that we read in the Science of Mind, but more in a latter 20th century language. Ernest Holmes wrote the Science of Mind in 1938. And the original version was written in 1926. So a lot of that was borderline Old English, just borderline Old English. So the Living the Science of Mind kind of brings it back into our way of understanding, and you won't regret it. And so the story I found was about the Colorado Rockies and this beautiful valley that had several beautiful fountains. And each fountain, they still exist, is different. And for some of those particular fountains, more water comes out than others. You know, some just trickle, and some are just gushing forward with lots of water. But underneath each of those fountains is one water source, one body of deep subterranean water source that flows through each of the fountains. And they're all connected to that one source. So I was thinking about that. The pressure that rises up from those fountains, from that one water source, is individualized because of the characteristics of that particular fountain. And when I started thinking about that, I started thinking about us as individuals. And it's you can kind of compare it to our own spiritual nature. We all have different characteristics, and we allow Spirit to flow through us in unique ways because of our thoughts, our emotions, our desires, but most of all because of our gifts and talents. We're all connected to one universal source, which I call Spirit. It's called by many names. It's called God, Allah, Jehovah, you name it. There's a name for it. But Spirit, my beloved, that's my name for it. And it's an interesting thing about these four fountains and their water source. Nothing in nature condemns or praises them for the varying degrees of water that comes forth from them. Nature simply accepts them as they are. There aren't any vultures or eagles circling around looking down on them, says, "Oh, you poor little fountain. You have such a small little trickle of water. You must have done something to block your flow." No. But unlike those particular fountains, we, on the other hand, we set the flow through our understanding or our lack of understanding of the presence of Spirit as the source of our lives. Unlike the fountains, we seemingly block the flow of God in and through us. which is really ever present and ready to amplify our gifts and talents. And I'm going to touch a little bit more on that later. And so when I think of the term transcendent purpose, which is the theme for the month of September, I pondered that word transcendent. And it also brought to mind to me the word immanent. You see, Holmes tells us that God is both immanent in us, closer than our very breath, and also transcendent, greater than we are. And then I started thinking about the word purpose as a verb. And that is defined as setting an aim, intention, or goal for oneself. We could say to have a purpose, or my intention. You see, the science of mind teaches that we exist for the purpose of self-expression. So a transcendent purpose could simply be to recognize our inherent gifts and talents and setting an intention to allow those talents and gifts to flow out into the world for the sheer purpose of expressing life to the fullest. And in doing so, we enrich our lives, and perhaps depending on our gifts and talents, we benefit others and our world as well. Yet there are times that we are afraid of the potential that is within us, afraid to try, afraid of failing. We may not know what our gifts and talents are because we have been talked out of them for far too long. They seem like some distant memory or faint dream. We hear the eternal vulture telling us that we are not worthy of embracing our talents and gifts or to live from a place of authenticity. And since we are not robots and have free will, we are free to do and think as we wish or be brainwashed by someone else, whether there be our parents telling us, you don't want to do that, you can't make money doing that, or our teachers saying, I don't think you have the skills for that, you should try this avenue or this vocation, or simply social media telling us that's not the right time for such a venue, being an artist or a singer or accountant or whatever the case may be. We are free to awaken to our divinity, to the divine flow and gifts within us, or we can block the flow of our gifts and talents and cut off the divine pressure and flow of self-expression and stay wondering who and what we are and continue to move through this thing called life aimlessly. But see, the choice is always ours. But I want to tell you that doesn't have to be the truth because we have available to us an immanent, nearer than our hands and feet, and a transcendent, greater than we can even imagine, spirit, which is the power back of all creation within the very midst of our being. The master teacher, Jesus, when he was telling the parable of the prodigal son, the father in this story is a representation of the immanent and transcendent spirit. And he starts telling us about the second son. And this particular second son, he noticed that there was a party going on in the house. He was like, what is happening? I just came from out in the field with the rest of the servants. Why are they partying? And when they found out that the first son had came home and the father received him safe and sound, he got jealous. And he said to the father, all these years I have served you, and you have never given me a fatted calf to make merry with my friends. You see, the second son was living his life as no more than a servant. He was living a life of restriction and limitation, which he imposed on himself. He was waiting for Spirit to give him what he already possessed. But Spirit, portrayed as the father in the story, told him, son, I am with you always, and all that I have is yours. You see, you already have divine gifts and talents, and Spirit is at the ready for you to recognize this. It is ever ready to amp up and flow through you. There's a power in the universe that's greater than all things, and we can use this, and this can only happen to the degree of our recognition of this indwelling power, to the degree we allow it to flow through us. In the same manner as the water pressure of the fountains flow, we too, in our recognition of this life presence, we either let a lot of God pressure out or a little. But you see, we have a choice in that. The fountains do not. We are the fountains of one eternal source. We are here to express more of life so that we may live it more abundantly. That's God's calling right now. More fully, more authentically. And by doing so, we turn up the God pressure in our lives. This is the real purpose and meaning of existence, to express more of life. We should ask ourselves in terms of creative expression, do we believe that we now can move to discover our gifts, to use our creative talents, to find the perfect vein to express ourselves uniquely? Our only answer to this should be yes. It should always be yes. And as we come into the understanding that all individuals, no matter what their past life experiences have been, we all have special and unique gifts just waiting to flow forth out into the world. All of us. And we are here to discover our gifts and give them away. Give your gifts away and give them out through this thing called life. Our teaching tells us that there's a divine urge seeking to express in all people, and back of all desire is the impulse of spirit to express. And this impulse expresses at the level of our consciousness. This is the key. For some of us will express from the sacred place of love, joy, creativity, and with conscious intention, or will express unconsciously and may misuse the greatest gift that we possess, the power of our minds. It is the nature of spirit to express through us, not in limitation, not in fear or want, but in freedom. If we have not yet discovered our particular purpose because of things that may have clouded our eternal vision, then we should utilize our spiritual practices to obtain a revelation of those gifts. In the book titled This Thing Called Life, Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit philosophy, he said, "Life, which is spirit or intelligence, is the sole and only creative agency in the universe. This life principle always existed and will always continue to exist. You are a part of its self-expression. Therefore, the whole desire of life is to give you more life. And since it is all life, it has all of life to give you. It loves you because in creating you, it has given some part of itself to you. You are dear to life, beloved by it. In creating you, it has poured itself into you. You could not ask for a greater love than this, and more love could not be given." Holmes tells us that life, the self-expression, is the sole and only purpose of life. That's the only purpose of life. And at the center of every person's being is an inner presence, an indwelling presence, that divine spark, always seeking a greater expression of itself through us. Holmes tells us that in our ignorance of this truth, we misuse the highest power we possess. And so great is this power, so complete in our freedom in it, so absolute the domain of law through it, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer. We are bound because we are first free. The power which appears to bind us is the only power in the universe that can free us. And that power is the power of your subconscious mind. The universal law of spirit is the creative principle of our subconscious/subjective mind, which we use every single day of our lives. And since we are not robots, we can misuse this power. But we must understand the error is not in the principle, but in the use of it and what we impress upon it through our thinking. So what are you thinking? What are you impressing upon this great law? Holmes said, whatever we think, act, believe in, feel, visualize, vision, imagine, read, talk about, in fact, all processes which affect or impress us at all are going into the subjective state of our thought, which is our individualized use of this universal mind. And so whatever goes into the subjective state of thought tends to return again as some condition, some outward manifestation in our lives. So it's up to us to become aware that we set the universal law into motion through our thoughts, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. Let us use the greatest power we possess to bring forth good in our lives and in our world. Because as soon as we say there's a power for good in this universe, greater than we are, and we can use it, as soon as we say that, we allow this greater power to fill us with its presence. We must continually to be open to its flow in order to be renewed by it. So if we are feeling that there's some transcendent purpose calling us, if we feel a divine urge for a greater vision for our lives, then we must understand that the infinite intelligence, a mind that knows all things, can acquaint us with its ideas only as we are able and willing to receive them. It must have an outlet. There's a place in us which lies open to the infinite, but when the Spirit brings its gift, pouring itself through us, it can only give us only what we take. Let me say that again. By pouring itself through us, it can only give us what we can take. So are we opening ourselves up to the divine spark and the flow that is ever available to us? Are we doing our spiritual practices so that we come into alignment to this ever-flowing presence of life? We are not fountains. We have a choice. We always have a choice of how much spirit will flow through us. And so as we move through this thing called life, it is our responsibility to express more of it abundantly. Our gifts and talents are innate. We come fully equipped. We are programmed with our talents. We are programming with song. We are programmed with rapping. We are programming with accounting. We are programming with architecture. We are programmed with whatever else that you do, that you specialize in, that you allow to come out into this thing called life. And when you get your bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuit and let God be God in and through and as you, watch out. The world will go, oh my goodness, bravo, bravo, Miss Thing. It will say that. And in order for us to truly to understand this, we must know that we are immersed in spirit. There is no separation. That we live and we move and we have our being in it and in us. What a beautiful thing that is. You see, there is a great difference in believing God is in you or outside of you. I'm on a Holmes kick now. And Holmes said, for if God is outside of you, how are you going to reach God? But the God who is already within you needs no reunion with anyone. Do you hear that? No reunion. You need no reunion with this indwelling spirit, because this God already is in your every act, every thought, every movement, in your every plan, purpose, and performance. There must be a unity established with spirit. A conscious connection must be made before we get the benefits which infinite intelligence is willing to reveal to us. The spirit can only give us what we can take. It imparts of itself only as we impart its nature. Again, we must make the connection of the intelligence. And we make that connection through our spiritual practices of affirmative prayer, affirmations, meditation, and socializing in sacred community with like-minded individuals. This is how we do it. And every time I hear that, I want to go, this is how we do it. Some of y'all may know nothing about that song, but some of you do. All right, in the book titled How to Change Your Life by Ernest, it states God is love, and love can have no desire other than to bless all alike and to express itself through all. So we might ask, what does express through all really mean to us? For some, this seems like a frightening perspective, and we are afraid of what we might have to give up. That's just our egoic self afraid of losing control of our small-minded nature. So instead of thinking in terms of personal loss, because really, who can outgive spirit? Who? We should come to the realization that this universal power is a transcendent power, individualized in and through and as each of us. It only wants to amplify, enliven our talents, and express as service to humanity, writing, singing, dancing, helping to make a world that works for everyone and for all creation, and whatever else that is in you that wills out into this world. That desire wanting to express through you is the voice of spirit in you, and you are its outlet. Did you hear that? You are its outlet. Do you know that you are the outlet of spirit? That it is in you. It is waiting to express through you. Spirit expresses itself through all creation, but for us as conscious beings, the spirit can make no gift we do not accept. And so, although there isn't a spiritual mandate for a predestined purpose, from some anthropomorphic deity up in the sky that has our name on it. You know, you've heard people say, I want to know what God's purpose is for me. They express life, to live your life, to live your talents and your gifts. You know what they are. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop asking that question. Stop it. We come into a greater understanding through this teaching that we are free to accept the gifts of the divine and use mind principle for a greater expression of good in our lives and for all the world. Because when you are filled up with spirit, you know what it is yours to do. And that could be so many different things. That could mean protesting. That could mean feeding the hungry. That could mean healing the sick. It could mean so many different things. But when you're filled up with God's Spirit, Joshua ben Joseph said, I don't even understand. I can do nothing of myself, but it is the Spirit that is within me. It does the work. It does the work. And he kept saying, I and the Father are one. And then he says, I can't do anything by myself. So he was living in this world of saying, I know that there's a power greater in me, but yet I also know without this power, I am powerless. He acknowledged that in himself. The science of mind teaches us that we are free to choose our own paths and create meaningful lives because spirit is in it all. So it can be a great flow or a small trickle. It's still spirit. It's still spirit. And so we can begin to recognize that experience, relationship, and moment in every opportunity for spiritual growth and expression. Every opportunity that we have. So please remember, as you consciously grasp that you live in pure spirit, new power will be born within you. You will find yourself renewed by the divine life, led by divine intelligence, and guarded by divine love. And when we are able to create space for a deeper understanding of the infinite possibilities that exist within us, then we understand that our transcendent purpose is merely to fully express life and to awaken to the truth of our being. And that truth is, we are individualized centers of God consciousness. And this presence, this inner sense of greater reality, bears witness of itself through our acts, our loving kindness, our higher acts of selfless service to humanity, and in our deepest emotions of compassion and divine givingness. Spirit loves you, all of you, and so do I, and so it is. For the practitioners, please come forth. Spirit loves us, is us, in us, through us, as us, always. One presence, one divine flow that is back of all creation. And so as I recognize this transcendent power as the life of my life, I know that that is the truth for everyone in this building, everyone that is watching on YouTube and Facebook, whether they're watching now or later. One life, one power, one love. And this divine presence is what buoys SLCA up, to be that beacon of light out into the world, to energize us, to revitalize us, and to give us not just hope, but faith that we stand on solid ground no matter what is happening out in the world, because there's a lot of things happening, but we know that this power sustains us always, and so it is. Thank you, SLCA.
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Woo! We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone. Thank you, Reverend Gene Bell. Thanks, everybody. See you downstairs. Let's get it.